Hello everyone, it is Joe here from OmniPoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon. Today we're going to Quagum'Nagum'n'Tagum. I've been waiting a long time to say that. But Nagaquag does gain a lot of new toys from Team Up. This Articuno is a card that I've been really intrigued by and impressed by with the few games that I've had with this deck. We also get a great new one-hit KO Merchant in Eevee Snorlax-GX, and I think that's maybe all this deck needs to push itself back into a lot more relevancy. A nice cheap attacker that can take knockouts on lower HP stuff in the early turns, that's also a non-GX and protects your board. It does so much for this deck, to be honest. And then this new Beat Stick that we gain. These are two huge inclusions for the deck. And yeah, let's talk about this list and how it changes post-team up. So first of all, 3/3 Quagsire. It's all about his washout ability here. Once, or as often as you like during a turn, you can move a water energy from your benched Pokemon to your active. So we're trying to combine this with Naganadel to charge up a bunch of energies turn by turn and then wash them all out into the active, doing big damage with our high energy attack costing tag teams or some of our non-GX threats as well in the deck. Speaking of non-GX threats, Hydro Pump is actually a good attack here as well. We do 60 plus 20 times the amount of water energy attached to him. This can get big, especially now when we have Cold Cyclone. So even though our opponent might be taking early knockouts, they're not really getting any energy off of our board anymore. So that's just going to be really good for us, basically. The Articuno really helps protect our board very nicely, which is awesome. Then we're going to play a 3/3 line of Naganadel. I've mentioned how important charging up is. That's the other part of this engine. Quag moves it to the active, but Naga is the one that gets them into play initially, which is great. We also have a nice type coverage in Psychic typing, which is relevant at some points. And his attack turning point is also worth noting, doing 80. But if you have exactly 3 prize cards remaining, you do 80 more. We're not playing choice bands in the deck, but we do also have Sauna Blast that can put prior damage on some basic GX Pokemon. So sometimes turning point will get one-hit KOs. Bear that in mind. It might be very useful for us. Then we have the new Articuno, 2 copies of this card. I really like it. It gives the deck a really nice lead alongside Volt Prism, which was previously like the only good starter for your deck. Now we have 2 Articunos in here, 110 HP. Weak to Lightning is a little awkward because Pikarom can be playing Raikou, and also Zapdos lists can be playing Jolteon. Obviously the Zapdos themselves won't hit us for weakness because of its attack, but the Jolteon certainly can. So this type coverage is a little awkward right now with all the cool new flashy tag team stuff coming out. Resistance to fighting is quite nice though, so we have some fighting resistance in the deck and we have some psychic typing in the deck, so our matchup against fighting is actually pretty solid. This Blizzard availability is absolutely incredible for a deck like this. As long as this Pokemon is your active, whenever your opponent plays a supporter card from their hand, prevent all effects of that card done to your benched water Pokemon. And then you read its Cold Cyclone attack, 2 for 70 is fairly efficient, very efficient because you get to move 2 energy from itself to the bench. So you're protecting those energies. So for anyone who knows Nagaquag and has played it before, the biggest nightmare is that you just don't have enough energy on the board. Articuno means that your Quagsires are going to be protected. They can't be Guzma'd up as long as this is active and his ability is live at least. And it also means that we're not losing energies even if we're losing prize cards. They have to go for the Articuno unless they use something like Lycanroc or Muck. Specifically, Zoroark Dex gets around us. But if that's not happening, we can just use this Blizzard Veil. We'll not lose any energy cards, and we can move these energies safely to the back and then just wash them out back into the active for future Cold Cyclones if we're not knocked out. I think one of the biggest things here is that it's just a 2 energy attack cost. That's really sort of slept on. This deck usually does nothing. If it doesn't have 3 energies or more on the deck on the board, it just does nothing. So now we have an option to just do something on turn 2, which is excellent for the deck. Really big card for a deck like this. Onto the one-ofs of the deck that we're then playing. Ditto, quick mention to him. His ability means we can go either Quag or Nag. Very versatile and helpful. Then we're going to have the 2 tag teams. EeveeSnorlax is the new introduction from the set itself. 270 hit points is really difficult to get through. Obviously, it is weak to fighting, so just don't put him down in the fighting matchups. Try not to start him either. And he has 3 attacks. Cheer Up isn't the worst thing you could be going for, attaching an energy from hand to one of your Pokemon. This is just a freebie for more acceleration, and it can help power himself up even. Dump Truck Press for 4 colorless does 120, and 120 more if the opponent's active is an evolution. This is doing 240, which is dealing with almost every stage 2 even, or stage 1 evolved Pokemon. Obviously, we have Snorlax as well that can put even 250 hit point stage 2s into range, which is insane. And then we have the Megaton Friends GX attack, which is such a big inclusion to the deck as well. Having this great energy, draw engine in the deck as well now is just awesome, 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 awesome. Doing, for that 4 energy cost, 210 vanilla, but if we have the extra energy on top, we get to draw until we have 10 cards. So big for a deck like this. It can help us dig into things like Beast Rings for certain turns, just more energy cards, more combo pieces that we need. That's all it really takes. If we've already got to the point of using EeveeSnorlax for a big KO, it's going to be huge. But from there, we're just getting even more cards in hand, some backup energy cards if we need them, backup Guzmas and stuff to just end the game from there, basically. It's just such a great GX to use if we are able to get him rolling. And he can then, even the 210 is just vanilla, so it can knock out even basic GX Pokemon, which Dump Truck Press can't really do so well, so he's still versatile at knocking out basics. Speaking of knocking out basics, the Magikarp Wailord is in here for that very purpose. Super Splash doing 180 means where the EeveeSnorlax is weak, the Magikarp Wailord is strong, because it has 180 vanilla, knocking out basic GXs very easily, especially with Snorlax setting that up for us as well, if need be, against 190 hit point GXs. Towering Splash is also a hilarious and powerful option that we have available, doing 10 damage for 1 water, but if we have an additional 7, so 8 total, water energies attached to this guy, we do 100 to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. This can be a great board clear for knocking out lots of low HP basics, like against, low HP evolutions even, against Lost March and Malamar. We can take a load of prizes all at once. Even against things like Persimmon Cocoa builds, we can do a Sauna Blast and move into Towering Splash and just take a complete board wipe off someone, which is just absolutely nuts. This Towering Splash means this guy's very versatile against non-GX matchups for a late game push, but also amazing at dealing with basic GX decks as well. So both of these guys are useful in different situations, but they're both very much warranted in the deck. Finally, we have Volcanion Prism Star. He's just such a big power spike card if you can be using him. 160 hit points on a non-GX is so awkward to get through for a lot of decks, especially in the early turns. Jet Geyser has great synergy for getting energy in the discard pile for our Nagas to charge back up, and also can buy us some time if we're trying to throw something out of the active to make them have Guzmas or Retreating cards. And Solar Blast sets up great math for us if we need to, whilst also being just like an amazing version of Flying Flip, basically. It's just a really powerful card. The deck just loves seeing this Volc Prism whenever you can. Onto the item cards, I'm playing 2 copies of Rescue Stretcher, trying to recover these pieces if ever we need to, even recovering Articuno's in the matchup where he's very useful. Again, this is an amazing card against Lost March, by the way, because 70 is all you ever need to do, and you never lose energy, and then you just go into Wailord and win. It's just easy. It's quite fun. Then we have 2 copies of Treasure, extra outs into our Tapu Lele, as well as outs into the Naga and the Poipole, which is cool, because we want to have lots of early basics down on our board. 2 copies of Beast Ring, and this is another reason why the Articuno is great. I feel the deck doesn't need to play Aqua Patch anymore. Aqua Patch has been a 4 of or a 3 of in Naga Quag previously, because whenever something got knocked out, you'd be losing energies. That's not the case with Articuno anymore, so now we can go for the greedier route of Beast Ring and get a lot of bursting attachments on. Obviously, Naga is our Ultra Beast as well as Poipole. We can get those extra bursts of output, and then Quag can wash them all out into our active. It's a great way to get energies in play, all thanks to the fact that we have Articuno now available to us. Whereas previously, I thought that Aqua Patch was probably the stronger option. From there, 4 copies of Acro Bike and 4 copies of Ultra Ball, getting into our stuff, thinning our deck. Synergy, both of them with discarding water energies for us early as well, which is just great news. I'm playing 2 copies of Brooklet Hill. Great for getting Woopers early, as well as trying to get things like Articuno and Volc Prism Star on the board. Both have great value. We can be happily putting down our Magikarp Wailords onto the board as well, as long as we have an Articuno active, because the opponent can't target it down. So it just feels very safe to play the Brooklet Hills. So much versatility in this deck with that support, with that stadium, as well as how important it is to bounce stadiums right now with Thunder Mountain, Wondrous Labyrinth, a few different cards right now that we need to bounce. Shrine as well to a certain extent, just if we have Lele's and stuff on the board. And onto supporters, I'm playing one copy of Gladion. We have a few one-offs here. The Eevee Snorlax and the Magikarp Wailord are the big ones for me, because either one of them is like can carry you in a matchup if they're useful. So it feels very devastating if one of them's prized. The reason I don't play more copies of these cards is because they're awful to start. And especially the Eevee Snorlax, you can't even protect that with Articuno's ability. The Magikarp Wailord slightly less so the case because you can protect it anyway with Articuno. But essentially, if the opponent can start hitting into these guys before we get value from them, we're very, very sad because we're quite slow to get usage out of these cards. So we'd rather have a low count of these so we don't start them very often, but we still have access to them whenever we need to. The Magikarp Wailord is much more searchable with the Brooklet Hill, but we still have Ultra Balls to find the Eevee Snorlax, and the Gladion means that we're a lot less punished if we prize either of these cards, which is awesome. Also, the Volcanion's worth pulling out as well, so I just feel like it's an extra card that I've already wanted to work into a Lapras build of this deck previously. Now I've found enough reason to put it into the build. From there, we're going to play 2 copies of TV Reporter. I just hate bricking with this deck. We are combo focused. We like having the small extra discard synergy with getting waters in the bin, and we get to draw more cards. I just like having a couple copies in here just to supplement everything else in the deck, because really we can just build this really intimidating board state as long as we don't start bricking. So I like having the TV Reporter as a nice backup option to increase our supporter counts. 3 copies of Guzma and Lillie, both obviously serving, well, Lillie's serving the drawing purpose. Guzma going to be nice just for picking the right things off with our big OHKO attackers that we have, which is always great. And then we're going to have the for Cynthia, just a very nice shuffle draw card that's always going to be good. And from there, 12 waters. I think that's plenty to see throughout the game. We want to get some in the bin early for our charge-ups. We want to have manual attachments pretty much most turns. And we want to see them in the hand as well, just having extras for the TV Reporters, the Acro Bikes, the Treasures, and the Ultra Balls, as well as Jet Geyser. So much synergy for getting them in the bin. It should be pretty easy for us so that we can charge up as well. So that is going to be the list. Let's talk about a few other card inclusions that we could be going for. In terms of Pokemon, there's not too many other cards that I would consider. I think Lapras is the only one that I had mentioned in passing. I think we're not playing Choice Band in the list, so his damage output from Blizzard Burn isn't quite as useful as it used to be, just because our natural damage output of Magikarp Wailord and Eevee Snorlax is so much that I don't think they are warranted. I think it's more sort of the trainers where you may have a dispute with me. Aqua Patch, I believe, is no longer necessary in the deck because of the Articuno routes that we have in here. The only real upswing of playing Aqua Patch is that if Poipoles are knocked out, or if we just simply can't search them out early, we may not have enough energy acceleration in the early turns. So I could see you sneaking in just 1 or 2 copies of Patch just to help you out in those early phases. But I think Articuno being so efficient with just a 2 energy attack cost, and the fact that it never loses its own energy, means that we're only really getting charge-up value from these discarding cards from our own hand, because the Articuno protects them so easily and so nicely for us. So I think the Aqua Patch is no longer mandatory in this list, but it could still be good for some extra burst acceleration. If you don't trust the Beast Rings, I could see you going for the flip-flop in that regard. I think from there, Acerola, one that's staring me in the face, and also Max Potion could actually be considered. Obviously, we have big tanky tag teams. If they take a hit, you can just Max Potion and swing again. It would be devastating, but I think it's already win more. If these 3 prize Pokemon are getting 4 prizes, which is often the sort of hope that we want out of these cards, they're already going to be super efficient. And I think the Max Potion doesn't help the initial combo, so that's why we're not going to go for it. The other option outside of the Brooklet Hill Mysterious Treasure line that I have is adding in some Nest Balls instead and going towards Ultra Space. For me, I think my route of Brooklet and Treasure is best, just because you have better outs into Lele exactly. That's the most important card. I'm just worried about bricking. But if you want to change up the Ultra Space for the Brooklets and cut some treasures and maybe chop down like a TV Reporter and an Acro Bike, you can add in 4 Nest Balls, and that'll give you plenty of searching options to get your board set up in the early turns, which is definitely worth considering. The main reason, well, outside of getting the extra Lele outs, I also like having extra discard synergy, and I like having the ability to search out Articunos very freely with the Brooklets. I think that's really important for us as well. So those are the main cards. Actually, there's one other. I think Ingo and Emmet was something I've considered as well. Just extra discard synergy on top of everything else that we have. But I think that TV Reporter can help us build a hand a little bit better when we already have some good like shuffle draw options and such. So I think that's going to be absolutely plenty of things that we need. So let's jump into the ladder and see if we can Quagum'Nagum'n'Tagum. Hopefully you guys will see the power of the Articuno, which I absolutely love in this deck. I think that's such a big card, to be honest, alongside the EeveeSnorlax. Two just great cards for the deck, and as it is my pet deck, I'm always going to try and experiment with it as much as I can. So let's jump into the ladder and see what we come up against. I do think we can represent a lot of non-GXs in those sorts of matchups where we need to, and we can also represent big OHKO beat sticks. It kind of feels similar to Ultra Necrozma, to be honest, where we have the versatility of going down 2 different routes, or 3 different routes really, based on what we come up against. It's just whether or not we're going to be consistent enough to do it every single game. So we start off with an Articuno, which is a huge thumbs up. We're always happy to see that, because straight away we can bench a Wooper knowing that it's going to be protected under the veil of the Blizzard. So that's going to be awesome. We have a great Ultra Ball as well for a really nice Lele, it looks like. Let's Acro Bike first. We actually pick up a Lillie now, which means the Ultra Ball can be for a Poipole instead. I am going to toss a Quagsire. We play a 3-3 line, and I already have Stretcher in hand, so I don't mind that at all. It also means we can get a turn 1 attachment going here. So we have our other Articuno in deck. We have all of these. We have our Pokemon, which is good. I think Ditto is the only Pokemon we've prized. Both our Beast Rings are here. We have our Gladion if we need to. We've prized a lot of energy cards, right? Yeah, we've prized a couple of energy for sure. Okay, this is looking good though. Looking like a really good start for us. We have guaranteed Quagsire turn 2. We can hit 70 on a Chimecho, which has 70 hit points next turn. But if he uses Bell of Silence, we actually can't get the Quags or the Nags going, but we could just manually attach for Cold Cyclone, so Articuno is even good against Bell of Silence, man. It's just broken. It's so good. It's so helpful. We want to keep digging here. I think we tossed the Lillie, actually. I think it's weaker here. We'll put Poipole down. And I think we're also putting down the Volk, just because I might want to do it pre-Cynthia anyway, but if he Bells of Silence, I have no option to put it down, so we'll do it with the mind of having to Cynthia next turn to dig for a water energy. So we're definitely up against a Malamar-based deck, right? I would assume. Oh. Maybe not. Maybe it's a Espeon deck that's playing Bell of Silence just to slow people down. Espeon Garb, it looks like. Well, we play a lot of item cards because we are combo focused, but we can be very non-GX heavy in this matchup. And if we use our Sauna Blasts correctly, we could use Nagas to knock out Espeons. So this may be a non-GX route that we go down. Espeon is very poor lining up against Articuno as well, because it moves energy off itself, which is just great for us. They're going to grab a turn 1 Lillie. Sounds good to me. Need to grab a drink. They actually choose to attach to the bench, so they even miss Bell of Silence. Which means we can grab our Quags and Nags freely. We can't Guzma unless I Lele here, but I don't think I want to Lele. I guess I just Ultra Ball away the TV reporter and Cynthia here, and then play a Cynthia. So the engine is rocking. It only takes 2 energies now. Oh, it's so nice. Oh, Articuno, you're the best. You're just the best. Okay, we get some extra energy cards. We do this. I could even use Jet Geyser here. Jet Geyser could deal with either of these, or if he brings up the Lele, we could finish it off with a Sauna Blast later. Let's do the Acro Bike first and see what we get. This is a nice backup for next turn. I feel like we want to be non-GXy, so I will put down the Articuno. We want to... We definitely want to wash out to the active, because they can still target the Nags and the Poipoles. Do I want to Sauna Blast is the question. Oh, Jet Geyser, I mean. I think the answer is yes. I think this Chimecho is just dead on his board, basically. I think he goes Lele here. Yep. And we'll just Cold Cyclone. And these energies are nice and safe for us for next turn. He can't Guzma this guy. He can't Divide GX to knock it out because it has a big beefy 160. Espeon is terrible at knocking out Articuno. It's all looking good. He's going to play a Judge on us. That's fine. We get another Nag. So next turn we'll be up to 5 energies at least, pre-Cynthia. This deck is so much happier that it only needs to have 1 Quag on the board as well in the early game because of this Articuno as well. We actually pick up Guzma. Do I want to just Guzma KO Trubbish with our other Articuno? I think that's best. I think that's really the only thing that I'm concerned about. I think the Espeon lines up really poorly against us, so we can just go down this line here. You always want to be washing out the energies off the Naggers, because those are the only things that he can target, even though Espeon can't knock them out. Maybe some other attacker can. We'll just go for the Cold Cyclone, put them on the Articuno. We grab Ditto. But it's looking really nice. We have 5 energies on the board. He doesn't really have a way of knocking out Articuno very easily. He can't use Guzma. There's just nothing he can really do against this board. Uh-oh. Well, okay. He Guzma something that he can Guzma at least. He's going to attach to the Chimecho at the back. And just hit us with Psychic. Doesn't even get the KO. Do I need to Cynthia? What do I just want more energies on the board, to be honest. So I actually want to go into the other Articuno here because we'll be charging up an energy. Let's just go for the Cold Cyclone. We're getting up to a comfy 6 energies now. He's going to divide. That way he can take a prize this turn. Put one on the other Nag so he can maybe Psychic it later. And then just put damage on the Volk because it's a good attacker. Makes sense to me. He's doing the right stuff. He's doing all he can. It's just this combo is so harsh to deal with. Just saying no is great. So he has opened up board space as well for us now. Board space that could be used to... Just thinking if it's time for a tag team. Could just be EeveeSnorlax and we just completely run riot on his board. I don't think it's wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Here's our friend. He weighs a few tons. Let's wash out a bunch. I think we just want a dump truck here. We can play Gladion when we have a free moment. Honestly, I think energy is correct. So weird just taking a basic energy card, but it's actually just all we need. And I just feel so unthreatened by his board that we can just we don't need to Megaton friends. If he takes like a random single prize off the board, yeah, there's just nothing you can do. There's honestly just nothing you could do there. Crazy. We were just nice and safe, building our board. And then, pow, tag team hits the board, no answer, game. Obviously, Espeon Garb isn't the most competitive of decks. It hasn't been for a little while, but it just shows, right? It just limits so many options. He had Guzmas, and he just wasn't able to affect our board like at all. So, let's see if we can get another game. So nice, these Articunos, just such strong cards. Water is just hitting that tipping point of having one too many good cards available to it. Uh-oh, we start EeveeSnorlax, which is a big yikes. We have a good hand other than that, though. He is playing Lost March. Our matchup is usually very, very good if we can use Magikarp Wailord to just win game. If he fills up his bench, which he usually has to. And once again, Articunos are very, very efficient in this matchup. The fact that we've led at EeveeSnorlax is a little awkward for sure. So navigating that is going to be our first mission. But honestly, I think we can still win. I honestly think even if he was to knock out this EeveeSnorlax, I think we can catch up so efficiently with the Magikarp Whale that I'm still not convinced that we lose because of starting this guy. Let loose is one way that we definitely can lose, though. That hand was a dream. And now it's just... it's actually better, in a way. No energy discards is sad, but we still get a 8-card Lillie right now, depending on our top deck. So it's a 7-card Lillie. But we'll allow it. Man, let loose out of the perfect hand is Monka S, but what do you expect from Lost March, really? So we do get a couple energy cards, a couple Acro Bikes as well to boot. Let's get some energy in the bin. That sounds good. We take the Ditto. That protects us from some random Guzma plays. Let's attach and cheer ourselves up with EeveeSnorlax. Where do I want to attach to? What's his most likely move next turn? He's unlikely to Guzma, I think. Unless his hand is literally just like Skip Plume Energy Guzma or something along those lines. So maybe we just cheer up to the Lele. Okay. We're going to see a net ball from them. Looks like that was their draw for turn, otherwise they probably would have played it last turn. Actually, they go for grass. Fair enough, fair enough. Here comes Skiploom, Floral Path. To get them up to 80. That gets them up to 120. So leading EeveeSnorlax definitely a problem here. But I'm seeing a lot of basics that just get bopped by a Magikarp Whale if ever we get to that point. Yep, just the 120 for them. It's a pretty easy ramp for them to knock us out. Definitely scary. I'm going to spread energies around. And just play Cynthia. We obviously can't proactively play Magikarp Whale when we don't have Articuno protecting us. We did whiff a Quag. We whiffed a lot, to be honest. We want to charge up this one. Don't know what I'm thinking. Keep the energy spread. And we want to cheer up again. And continue to keep the energy spread. Small debate to cheering up to the Lele a second time so that we can knock out a Jump Bluff with a manual attachment. But if he's going to ramp to knock out this Eevee, he's going to knock out this Lele. I guess the main argument against it is that we can just Naga KO next turn. I don't really see much other options that we have right now. We're just kind of living in hope that we can get to 8 energy cards and Wailord our way back into this game. It's honestly going to take something like that to win. That's a shame that we got Mountain Passed out of a supporter when we're in desperate need of one. He can take the first 3 prize cards here. At least, I mean, EeveeSnorlax is obviously a hideous lead because of the prizes that he just gives up, but at least you can use Cheer Up with him. That's always something good you can get out of him. So, unfortunately, we just have to take a prize here. There's nothing else we can do. that's a nice prize that we take at least. We'll be losing a lot of energy cards. But the hope is that we can re-establish this Poipole that gets knocked out. Cynthia hopes to hit a Quag and at least use Volk. We really need to get some burst acceleration. It's a shame that we're not going to be able to use Beast Ring. That would have been huge if we could have. But the Trumbeak at the right time last turn denied us a Cynthia. Honestly, I think if we had Beast Ring this game, we probably would have still been able to ramp there. Now it feels a little bit out of our range. I think our Lost March matchup, as long as Let Loose is relatively forgiving, I think the matchup is so solid. It's just that we led EeveeSnorlax as well. That's the big shame here. I don't want to really do a Crimea River type thing, but I don't think it's a matchup that you need to be too concerned about. I think literally leading either tag team is like your only loss condition outside of Let Loose into nothing. Especially because Articuno is so efficient at knocking them out one by one. And you never lose energies. It's just none of those things came to fruition because we started an EeveeSnorlax. Okay. There's a Quag. Here's a Nag. Well, a Poipole. Charge up. We're just leaking too many energies at this point, which is a shame. A Guzma wins him game anyway next turn. But the game could have been as simple as knock out this, knock out a... and then just Wailord for game next turn. It's a shame. It's a big old shame. But if you're going to play this deck, don't live in fear of Lost March. It should be favourable. I think it's a close favourable because this guy does things, and we are quite reliant on combo pieces, but still. We have a pretty high support count with the added TV reporters, and we have, 6 quote-unquote ball search cards to find a Lele, so we have a good number of outs around Let Loose. It's just whether we get into all of our basics on the same turn. He's doing the things and the stuff to ramp into silly numbers. Instructing, looking for Guzma. Don't think he's played any yet. Nope, just retreat KO, still works. Still does good stuff. And that's pretty much guaranteed game. We can get to 5 energies. That's not 8. Let's show him the Beast Ring. Let's show him the Spice. Yeah, we have to concede here. It's a shame. It's a shame. But I would take my chances against most Lost March players. Let's jump into another game. Not quite the dream that we were hoping for, like game 1. Maybe this third game can redeem the confidence in this deck. Silly tag teams being starting Pokemon it is a big problem with the deck, to be fair. We do have a good amount of basics, though. we have 10 optimal leads, and Lele, Eevee, and Magikarp are our 3 suboptimal leads. Obviously, the ideal are the 2 Articunos and the Volc Prism. Here we go with Poipole. It's not a tag team, we'll take it. And after a couple of mulls, it's going to be his turn. Quite a few mulls. Oh, he leads a tag team. So, surprisingly, opposing tag teams are actually the hardest things for us to knock out. Because Dump Truck Press isn't KOing them, Magikarp Wailord isn't KOing them, and neither is Megaton Friends. So it relies on us doing Articuno early damage. Looks like he's playing a fossil deck. Interesting. Is he playing the... he might be playing Gengar with Omastar to stop us playing down our trainers and playing around Poltergeist. That might be the route that he goes for. We're going to attach into Cynthia. Well, we're definitely playing around Poltergeist quite well this turn. We are weak to Psychic regardless, though. But this is pretty nuts as a start. I think I won't bench the 3rd Poipole. No, there's actually no reason not to, right? Okay, let's just poison. Let's see if we can get Candy Omastar. Maybe he uses Horror House next turn. This turn. Just to buy time for his stage 2. That would be pretty interesting. There's a genuine chance with an only 2-card hand that he's worried that Poltergeist won't get a KO. There's a genuine concern for him. Maybe he uses like Let Loose or something. He's going to Ultra Ball nonetheless. He does play Judges. I was expecting something like that for the players who can get their hand sizes low. Is he grabbing the Lord Helix? No, he's grabbing a backup Gengar Mimi. And using another Ultra Ball. For a 3rd Gengar Mimi. Wow. So it looks to be just a pure Poltergeist dot deck. He's just going to use Horror House here. We'll take it. It's a nice big hand size for us. Can't do much with it. We can Jet Geyser though. Getting him out of poison, but making him retreat. And we knew that a few of his cards were Gengar Mimikyus. Perhaps the Jet Geyser was actually incorrect here, because 1 more damage would have put it in range of a Megaton Friends. Thinking face. I guess we have to go for a Sauna Blast anyway. Like, we need to get that rolling first, regardless. He actually goes Order Pad Heads, which is pretty PogChamp. That's going to get him into Candy. He's going to Rope as well. And that protects an energy for us, which is very nice. I think we just let another Poipole go. Here comes the Omastar. That's exactly what we thought. So, obviously we have completely filled our bench, but we can't play items from our hand. We can still use supporters, thankfully, but yeah, not being able to search out our Quagsires and such is going to be a little awkward. Luckily, we still have Jet Geyser to get more energies in the discard pile. He's going to Fossil Excavation Map for another one of these. And Poltergeist. He gets to see our hand as well, I think. The big 300, thanks to weakness. A little bit overkill for the one prize, but still. We're going to go into our Volk. We've prized two Quagsire as well, so we have to physically find one Quagsire, which is actually super frustrating for us. For that reason, we'll attach to the bench. Because if we hit Quagsire, we can still put it active, but otherwise we want it safe. Let's just Cynthia. Obviously missed the Quag. Didn't expect to hit it, but it is frustrating. We're going to evolve the back, do some charging up. Where's our Gladion when we need it, huh? Let's pass. We've come up against a pretty wacky deck here, but it does highlight our reliance on item cards. I keep saying that we're combo based, and it's no joke. We do need to hit our stuff. Our prizes have Mean Dust this game as well, as did our start against the Lost March. I'm so sad that this deck hasn't done better because it's just such a pet deck, and it physically makes me sad to see it not doing well. And it was doing well before I put the recorder on. But stuff happens, huh? Well, at least he's safe behind the veil for now. Man, his Omastar is just laughing to the bank right now. That is nuts. That is nuts. I'm going to concede this game. We're just going to go into a fourth game because I'm determined to win with this deck. And I'm upset that we haven't destroyed everyone. I'm upset, guys. Beetle prizes and Beetle start has caused us to lose 2 games. Now we've got the Articuno, we've got the Wooper. It's all looking dandy. And we're up against possibly a Sylveon deck. Sylveon can't do literally anything to us if it's a stalling variant. If it's a Gardevoir variant, it's going to be down to the dump truck boyo. We take the Ditto because we can't stretcher it back, but we can stretch a Poipole. We're going to do this. We can draw 5 with Lillie. Seems fine. With the backup Cynthia. Brooklet is nice. We can pull out a second Wooper. Actually, no, the Veil protects us, right? So we just want more Veils. I need to play towards that a lot more. Keep forgetting. The Stretcher is exactly what we need to get another Poipole down. I say another. The Ditto is going to be a Poipole because the Wooper's protected. Let's pass. So the awkward thing about Cold Cyclone is that he can actually plea GX a lot of the energies up all at once. He plays Dumbbells, so maybe he is a stalling variant. In which case... Ha! It looks to be a stalling variant. I feel very sorry that he's run into me. Because he won't be able to remove any energy cards. He'll only be able to Guzma Nagas, which have effective free retreat. It's a good matchup. I don't want to fill our bench because he won't be able to get rid of it like anything. So we'll just do this. We don't want the Wailord, we want the Eevee Snore, don't we? Yeah. So we can charge up. And we'll just Cold Cyclone to our other Articuno. This is where he goes DC plea and tries to go aggro. No, he's going to Fairy Wind. Okay. We are actually a little bit bricking right now. We can just Cold Cyclone. Magikarp Wailord's not ideal, but if we can get a Quagsire anyway, we can just transfer it over. He's going to go for a Guzma. And he's only just realised what Blizzard Veil does. Okay. So we get Ultra Ball, and we also have Beast Ring available. We have actually prized our Lele. So we are still bricking hard. But we can take the knockout here by just Ultra Balling for Quag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I need all of these, don't I? Just make sure. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7 with the water energy, which I don't see why I wouldn't play down. I guess he could use like a Lugia or an Articuno, which would be very scary. Six. So I think the thing that we're most scared of here is just a Lugia GX play. But there's already Wonder Lab in play, so he'd have to bounce that as well. So he'd have, and because he's been using Fairy Wind, he's not been ribboning for these specific combos. He may be forced to wrap GX here, just to not die, if he has more energies. Because again, yep, he can't even wrap GX because of the stadium. Let's get one more game in. I'm just playing this deck all night, man. I'm just doing it anyway, so I might as well keep the recorder on. I love this deck. And we haven't really come up against anything usual. It's just that time in the day. I think this is gonna be my buddy Adam playing Ultra Squids. Should be an interesting matchup. Ultra Squids have the annoying 190 hit points, which means we've got to try and use like some Sauna Blast tactics. But we're very good at knocking out multiple Malamars with Wailord. So that's the priority. We want him to lead Inke's and Jirachis and stuff, so that's also good for us. Obviously we're scared of Bell of Silence, but still. I love that this deck has early pressure now and early protection for Woopers. It's so solid. Like this is just perfect for this deck. I don't want to see a let loose from him, that's for sure. This hand is great. But sometimes when you just see a combo deck like this, you're inclined to let loose early. We're going to see a big Lillie from him. It's going to obviously attach to Bell of Silence me. I think it's important enough to not miss energy that I'm just going to manually attach here rather than get a... yeah, we want one of these. Sorry, I got lost in my own train of thought. That we want to manually attach rather than discard. We're going to need this Ultra Ball for Lele for next turn. This is probably what we attack with next turn if we're able to. And we want to put him down early just to... I mean, now we could even use the Jet Geyser. No, it's very weak if he does still get the Bell of Silence off, so we just pass. Yep. The reason why I'm not Ultra Balling for Lele proactively is just because we have energy attachment if we want to knock out... If he wants to Bell of Silence, that's fine. He's going to Viridian out a Metal Energy. An Ultra Ball. He's going to grab the Ultra Boyo. So I think he wants to go aggressive against us. I think he's realizing that Articuno's too good at just denying Bell of Silence. Maybe he's just powering it up with the intention still of using Bell of Silence. Who knows? Let's see, Acro Bike getting rid of a treasure. Puts down second Mally. Let's see a recharge. He could swing for 100 if he wants to. I think the Bell of Silence makes sense here. We can just Viridian away a water. Get a water. It's good for our deck too. And we'll just Cyclone. Move the energies over here. Nice, nice. We faced down 2 Chidekos already in this video. And both times we've been fortunate enough to have Articuno to deal with it. He's going to Acro Bike a couple times. His Ultra is already capable of knocking out the active. Just the 1 energy. So his intent is just going to be getting more energies, or sorry, getting more Ultras on the board. He's going to attach, recharge. And he's going to let loose. Makes sense. Our hand was too big. Too damn big. Hand is still strong though. I really like Viridian as well. Viridian's a good enough card just to consider in this deck anyway. If we didn't need so much Pokemon search, I'd like it. So we're going to bring up Volk. Start with the Acro Bike. Naga's nice. Got rid of 2 Guzmas already, which is a bit yikes. Let's think about how the board is going to be looking. I think I just do this and then stretch all 3 targets back in the deck. Is Jet Geyser ever correct here? Can already use charging up, but I could use it twice. And hitting into this isn't great. I've already got guaranteed attack, so let's. I think I do want a Jet Geyser. Just to get more energy in the discard pile. I'm gonna shuffle 3. Draw 6. Getting back up Wooper's great. Energy attachments are good as well. We'll wash out to the active. Attach here. This gets requisite damage on all of these guys for Wailord to start using Super Splash. It's just, we're not close on attachments just yet. Taking this prize does put us into Beast Ring range though. It's just our hand isn't getting us there. Ultra Necrozma, obviously one of the better decks at just taking 1-hit KOs as well, obviously, on tag teams. He's going to Moon's Eclipse. It makes sense, seeing as though we've played 2, or we've got rid of 2 Guzmas already. It does require a pretty specific hand for us to have the answer. But pretty specific hand we have. 3 energies. The only thing we can attack with is a Naga or a Quag. None of them sounds great. Let's think about this. So Guzma doesn't even feel right here. I think TV Reporter's our move. And if we're TV Reportering, we're doing this. No Beast Ring is sad face emoji. So the plan is to remain non-GX. And get more energies onto this board, for sure. Do we just do the Cold Cyclone? Oh, sorry, do we just put the Articuno up just to protect Quag? Probably the correct move. It also means we can protect an energy this way as well. So we can do the wiggle and put it over here. But man, his Ultra army is looking pretty strong. He's just super prepared for any tag team that comes down. Okay. Beast Ring attempt number 2. Success. We definitely need another Naga here. We just need more energies. More energies. Trying to set up for Megaton friends. But we need to Hydro Pump as well here. This is going to be hard. Definitely going to be hard. Seeing as though all of our energies need to come from the discard. Well, I guess we're taking prizes as well. There's 1 energy in these prize cards. There we go, that's nice. He's going to Distortion Door. So he can Giratina attack, of course. Take the knockout and means we can't just win with EeveeSnorlax. So I think that's all she wrote. Was I too happy-go-lucky with my Viridian Forests? Maybe. Let's Ultra Ball, get Nag. Oh, there's no more Nag. Let's get Quag. Excellent. What can we do? Not game. We need to force him to have a switch card or another attachment. How many energies has he played? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 energies played. I can't remove Stadium. he's only played 1 copy of Switch as well. So it's looking pretty poor. I actually can't even attack here because we can't win. I mean, I can't charge up anymore. All right, we've got to scoop it up. Well played, well played. Right, so that'll be it. The QuagNag and Tag didn't really come off as much as I'd like. I think still pretty triggered about the Lost March game, to be honest. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. We had a 1 in 13 of starting him. 2 in 13, I guess. For the lost condition there. We weren't able to build up into Wailord. The Beast Rings helped, but weren't quite as spectacular as I would have liked. So I would have preferred to see this deck a little bit better. But I think the Articuno proved its worth for sure. Cold Cycloning, some early pressure, some early prizes, and sort of preventing people from doing much else. So that aspect of the deck was good. And I guess it's down for you guys to experiment to see how much more energies we can try and recycle the deck. Let me know how you guys try and get more energies onto this board to get these attacks working a lot more often. I think we had a strange string of games there, to be perfectly honest. I think we got hit with Let Loose on a couple of good occasions, and we got beetled in a couple of occasions as well. But that's it for me, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow for another video. Cheers.